you have to be on the side of the government. Billionaires, they always say they intermingle with the government. If you're confused, don't make a decision. And also, I want to make sure you understand everything, because it's like we're married together for this time, because you're going to be the bank. Then how are you supposed to focus on the future if you got the past lowering you down and then you got the present day you're struggling? Take 10 months of suffering, get to the point you need to be, and then you can start building your future. When I was young and I did get a lot of money, I was like, yo, man, I was getting excited, and then God would let something happen where it'd go away or something would move. Or I look back and see where God protected me when I really could have gone off the deep end possibly.
What is your definition of a high-performing individual? Shane, my friend.
Hey, man.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
It's been a 24-hour friendship, and I like it already.
It's been good.
It has been, yeah. So yeah, no, I really appreciate you taking time for this. You know, I met your team. They're awesome people. You all, where are you from actually originally?
From Albany, Georgia, so South Georgia, and now we live in Atlanta, Georgia.
Got it, yeah.
Exactly. But I have the best team, man. I'm so proud of them. They're so young.
Yeah.
They have great, not just potential, but we're trying to help that potential match the reality. But super great guys.
Yeah, yeah, and that's obviously, you know, it comes from the leader and now, you know. So we will dive into that. But a lot of the guys we're communicating to and we're working with every day is business owners and entrepreneurs. And we're obviously helping them with their, you know, their health, their well-being, their fitness, their mindset and stuff. So I always love to start the conversation with, what is your definition of a high-performing individual, like a high-performing man? Like what are the characteristics and mindsets that goes into a person like that?
You know, definitely good health. Like, I need to get big like this. You made me want to do some push-ups after speaking. Yes, good health.
Yeah.
Of course, I believe wealth is kind of one. You know, you want to make sure someone can protect the people they love, and then that goes to the next thing. You want to protect your family, right? So you want to have good relationships, and then general all peace. I think when someone stops learning, they kind of die out. So I think the optimum person is like someone with good health, wealth, love, and happiness. Kind of what Ty Lopez says.
Yeah.
So to me, I think all of those things maximized is like a tip-top guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that obviously ties into learning. So for you to go in these directions, you have to be a learner.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think a good investor is always learning. And then whenever you stop learning, if you feel like you know it all, those guys seem to be the most depressed and sad. But I like the part of just, oh man, learning something new just feels good. It's kind of like, I don't know, it keeps my mind stimulated.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I'm the same. I think that's it's the learning and the being on purpose. It's not like you're chasing something. I don't really like that word. I like ambition, but it is the growth element. You know, we were doing a podcast yesterday with another successful guy. You know, and he maxed out in his business, made all the money he wanted to. Thought that was the goal. You know what I mean? And then when he hit that goal, he was like, I'm missing something, you know what I mean? And that was the love, and there was the health kind of like went out of the way. So it's a combination of all these things. I think it's
100%.
It has to be there,
yeah, 100%. Not only being successful and that, like, just I got married, so I want to be a successful husband too, you know.
Yeah.
So
when did you get married?
November 2nd.
Oh wow! So
it's just recently,
brand new,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So I want to be a good husband. I want to be a good father one day, you know. To me, there's success in that too. So
yeah, no, absolutely, and we'll dive into that. You know, so obviously, you know, walk me through. You grew up in Albany.
Yeah, Albany, Georgia, South Georgia.
Trailer park. I read something around.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I was born in a mobile home. We lived in there for a few years, and then my I guess a small little history is my dad's Korean. So I'm half Korean. I don't look much Asian, but so my dad came to America. He still speaks like Jackie Chan, but he came to America back in I think the 70s.
Yeah.
60s, 70s. And then my mom, she's just from Chicago. We did Taekwondo, you know, martial arts schools. Grew up in a trailer, and then my dad just slowly building up, built us up to where we were actually like kind of a lower middle class. So that's kind of how it was when I grew up.
Yeah, and then so you just went to normal school, and then did you get a trade, or what were you doing? Were you an entrepreneur always?
Yeah, so like I said, my dad's Korean, so he wanted me to be a doctor, a lawyer, or something. But I don't know. I went to be a doctor, and I was in college for a couple of years, and I have a friend that's a doctor, and he was going through residency.
Yeah.
So after you get your medical degree after 8 years, you have to do a 3-year residency, and he was in his first year, so I went to shadow him. And after I went to shadow him and did some of the rest, I said, man, this is just not for me. Even the doctors, the other doctors said, don't do it, man. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
And I guess it discouraged me. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to not do this. I remember I was maybe a month and a half away from having my associates in biology or whatever. And I stood up and just walked out.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so you obviously, so how old are you now, 38? Or
I'm 38 years old.
38, yeah. And the real estate, is that only 6 years or 7 years? Or?
It's 8 years as of January, so eight years, like a couple months now.
And so what were you doing there, like mid-20s, like start 30s?
Yeah,
like?
so after I dropped out of college, I just helped my dad at his Taekwondo school. I was a full-time missionary, so every 4 months I'd go with a pastor. We'd go to different countries, and we'd build wells, and he'd preach, and then, we built some schools. And I found that things were very non-profit at that time. So I started my own Taekwondo school when I was 22.
Right.
And then we did that all the way to 28, 29. But around the 25-year mark, when I was 25, this guy bought the pizza place next to my Taekwondo school.
Yeah.
And he had his hair slicked back, you know what I'm saying? And him and his wife had matching cars. And I was like, sir, what do you do? And long story short, he told me he did real estate. And I said, man, that's awesome. But then he ghosted me after that. So for 5 years, I tried to get into it, but I didn't get my first deal till I was 30. So I wish I would have started when I was 25, though.
Yeah. Yeah, knowing what you know now, like that could have been in 5 years.
Yeah, so I just didn't have any education. I didn't have any mentoring. Honestly, I didn't know anyone in that space.
Yeah.
I didn't have any driven people,
Yeah. And so why real estate back then? Because it's a well-known thing. A lot of people want to get into that. It's more and more popular even for younger people today. But why real estate at that time?
Honestly, even when I met that gentleman and he said, yeah, I buy houses and apartments and stuff, I just felt like, man, I'm so young, there's no way I could do that. I couldn't do what he's doing.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just keep working. But, reflecting on what he said, I said, man, if I could, maybe I could, become wealthy and have something to pass to my kids. Because a doctor, a lawyer, they can't pass their certification to their kids when they pass, but they could pass assets like real estate and stuff.
Yeah.
So I said, that's interesting. And because I wanted to be a full-time missionary and kind of continuously go with the church, how it worked before is I would always come back to the States and ask church and ask people, hey, man, you give me some money to go back and help poor people.
Yeah.
And it was just really tedious. And most people just, they give $1 or $100 or $50, but we needed thousands of dollars. But reflecting on what he said, I was like, man, if I was to build up assets, I'll let the assets pay for my lifestyle so I can live well. And then whatever's extra, I could use that to kind of keep funding these projects. I said, man, that's an interesting concept. Because, like I said, nonprofit is very nonprofit. So that's why I said, man, if I guess it just kind of clicked. I said, if I can, generate cash flow every month, take care of myself and help them, that'd be a win-win-win. And even when I pass away, my family's taken care of, and the mission trips and the missions that we're doing is still, working. So that's kind of what got my attention. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So you obviously now, you've done a lot of real estate yourself, like portfolio right now, 80 plus, I read as well. 80 plus million portfolio.
Oh man, yes, between 70 and 80 million. That's crazy. I can't believe that.
That's wild. That's wild in 8 years. Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk real estate. The nuts and the bolts. So you guys are teaching a certain way of doing real estate now. Like walk me through that. What's kind of like the traditional way, the old way?
Yeah.
Why is that broken? And then what do you guys do?
So what most people do is they think HGTV. You find a property that's like in horrible shape, you buy it for super cheap, and then you go in and fix it up, and then you sell it for more. But also, to me, that's not real estate. Fix and flips, that's called a fix and flip. But I don't think that's real estate. That's like buying a water bottle for $1 and then selling it here at the hotel for $10.
It's a sales job. Yeah, it's a transaction.
So I was like, man, but real estate is buying and holding. Like these huge apartment buildings and stuff. And it's kind of like stuff you were telling me back in Bali, right?
Yeah.
Those are real investments. So, and then the next phase is you hear about these guys that buy a bunch of homes and rent them out to people. And I like that fact too. That's where the cash flow comes. What I want to do is combine that. Because when you do fix and flips, you make bulk money. But if you rent, you make little money, but then you got to deal with a bunch of maintenance, but you hold it, right?
Right.
So I like to do things where people win. So what we decided to do, or what I decided to do when I first started, and we continue to do, is I'll find a home, we'll buy it creatively sometime or traditionally, And then what we do is we build a pathway to home ownership for people. So let's just say you're a young guy. Let's just say you're 20 years old. You're a 20-year-old, okay? Simon, he's 20. You know, you don't have a ton of money, but you're a quality guy. You're just not qualified to get a house right now.
Yeah.
Whether you have student debt, medical bills, or whatever. So what we'll do is we'll let you pay a small down payment,
Yeah.
lease the home with an option to buy later. So what the benefit for me as investors, I still get to make 20, 30 grand or bulk up front, and I cash flow, and I'm giving you the opportunity to eventually own this home,
Right.
and give you time to get what you need to get fixed.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win situation. So that's what we did
Yeah.
with the single family. Multifamily, we started buying from sellers that they didn't want to manage the properties, or like syndicators, these big investors. Sometimes they buy these huge buildings and they try and give it to a third-party property management company. And the property management company, they'll say, oh yeah, there's 10 rooms that are empty, but really they're not. They're just keeping the money. Maybe
Right,
that's one
right.
thing. Or they're not managing it as well because it's not theirs. They're just getting a commission. So what we'll do is we'll be an alternative to that, and we'll take the whole apartment complex, pay the seller a monthly payment, and we're basically upgrading them from landlord to a bank. So now they're getting pure passive income, and they're getting tip-top prices for what they would be able to sell it for later.
Yeah.
And that gives us the opportunity. Our opportunities, we get to come in and have our policies. We optimize the property. We give the tenants, we call them clients, because we treat them with the utmost respect. We want to treat them as clients, so we create a better environment. And then we know what numbers we have to hit, so then later on, we can cash the seller out in the future. So that's a real nerdy kind of breakdown of the both.
And so do the owner of that building right now, so you go in and then you finance that, or you lease it basically over a long term. Do you own
Both.
it from so you own it from the get-go with the possibilities of buying it out at the end?
That's a great question. So it depends. So if it's something that's paid off that they owe nothing, maybe we'll seller finance. So when we go to the attorney to close, they pass the title in my name, takes all the liability off the seller. So if there's any lawsuits, it's on my insurance.
You
on
own it
me.
right now. Yeah.
But you're protected as the seller if it burns down or it gets, I don't know, a tree, falls on it or any kind of issue. You're still getting paid the same payment, or the insurance will pay you first. It's to say you're protected just as much as Wells Fargo is.
Yeah.
Now, if it has a loan on it or certain types of things, then it just depends on what's in their loan documents. Some don't even allow master leases, which they won't even let you lease it to one group. So it depends. But yeah, the perfect case scenario would be like, we bought one that was 18 units. It was a smaller one. And we were able to lease all the units significantly much lower. So let's say the rents are like $1,200. We rented them all for $500.
Wow.
Yeah.
And why is that? What's the deal there? Like, you just want to get full capacity, or?
Yeah. So imagine this. Let's just say that you're the seller of an 18 unit and you can rent them for $1,200.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I would tell you, I said, look, what are you making after you pay taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance and vacancy? And you said, well, maybe about $700, $600. I said, well, how about us pay you $500 per door?
Right.
So we can have a cushion of $100, and we'll pay the taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. You say, now you're basically netting the same.
Yeah.
Almost the same.
Yeah.
But now you're completely passive. So then we'll take it over. Then we'll optimize, and as rents increase over the next couple of years,
you do that, yeah.
then we're able to cash you out later. And the reason why that would also be a good thing for an investor is because if you seller finance to me right away, sometimes you lose depreciation or the act of a 1031. If we lease the whole thing, you still have the capability of what they call a 1031. Do you know what a 1031 is?
No.
I'm sorry for you. Got to teach me fitness.
Okay. I'm new to this. But I'm learning. Yeah, I love this.
So if I sell let's just say you buy a property.
Yeah.
For $1 million and you sell it for $1,250,000, how much did you make?
Well, 200, yeah.
250, right? The thing is, as soon as you sell it, you got to pay a capital gains tax, right?
Yeah.
But in real estate, if you sell and you hold it for 2 years and stuff, and you sell it, then you get to take that $250,000 and roll it over into the next part, and you don't have to pay taxes out of it. You're deferring it. So sometime if I'm talking to a seller, I'll say, hey, instead of owner financing it to me, let me master lease it, so that when I do cash you out, you have more time to find a great deal to put that money into. You see?
Yeah.
So I love win-wins.
Of course, yeah.
Really nerdy stuff. I kind of think I went in the weeds there.
No, I like it. I like it. I like it. I think that's that because it's for someone like me, a beginner, and that doesn't matter age. You know, it's like that's all that becomes. How do you get in? How do you start? How do you? What's the bank? Like that for me is like I don't want to kind of like. I don't want to manage it. I don't want to deal with it. I just want to like, how do you get started with something? And that seems like the lowest barrier to entrance.
Oh yeah, if you can find, let me tell you if you want to hear like one thing for everyone that everyone at home can try, is if you go on Facebook Marketplace and go to for rent, think about it. That is a person that's a landlord they're willing to take monthly payments on their home.
Yeah.
So if you reach out to them and say, hey, look, I know you say you want $3,000 a month. What if I decide to make this my forever home in the future?
Yeah.
Would you be willing to sell it in the future? And I said, well, maybe. And I said, okay. Well, how much would you want if I did buy it in 5, 8 years, 4 years, whatever? And they said, well, I'd want, I don't know, $700,000. I said, well, can I have the option to buy it first, like first right of refusal? If they say yes, now you have a lease and an option. That's the same thing.
And is that like almost like a buying contract? So now you just reverse engineer the numbers into that.
Absolutely. So do you rent in Bali?
Rent, yeah.
When you sign a contract to rent, you control the property more than the owners.
Yeah.
They can't just come in there, can they? Right?
Yeah.
So we control it with the lease. Then we have the option, which gives us equitable interest, which means that they can't sell it to anyone else but me. Right? So it's the same. And then we negotiate credits. So let's just say, again, for this theoretical, hypothetical little example, someone's willing to take $3,000 a month. They want $700,000 in the future, and I'm renting it. Then we negotiate. If I cash you out, those $3,000 a month gets credited toward the principal.
Yeah, so you're paying it off right now.
Yeah, so it's almost like seller financing mixed with some lease option, right?
Yeah.
So then your hope is in the future that the property value goes up to $1 million. Now you've already got instant equity.
Right.
And you'll be able to cash it out. The bank's going to see that you're moving into the same property that you've been renting. In fact, payments may be less or more, who knows. Or you can actually sell it to someone else. And that's what we've done as well.
Interesting, yeah. And so do you see, like, even for a seller, do you see that's a new concept? Are they like...
You know, when I travel out of country, most people in Latin America, 70% of people are open and already understand it. It's here in America that maybe 10% understand it. So it's my job to be able to explain what I'm wanting to do without making it look as if I'm teaching them. So I have to kind of guide them slowly. Say, hey, this is a win-win. Let's sit down with your attorney or your CPA, specifically on the big buildings like that. I said, let's sit down together. And I'll talk to the attorney or their CPA. I said, would that work? Okay, how if I did like this? And I create the offer together with them so they don't feel like I'm just offering something. You know what I mean? But if I'm creating it together, they're more likely to accept it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an education thing for sure for most sellers.
Yeah, I could imagine that because in Bali it's I don't know, I'm not quite sure they understand business quite well, but they want cash up front. So a lot of the properties over there, it's like you pay 1 year, 2 year, 5 years up front, and then but then what you actually save, it's not a lot. Versus like you could just pay monthly. But they want a lot of the properties, they want that cash up front for renting,
And every time that they ask me about cash, I want my cash up front. I said, absolutely, I understand.
Yeah.
Every seller I've talked to wants cash up front. Unfortunately, due to, and it's not your fault or my fault, but our interest rates are blank, or I say whatever the issue is, this is how we was thinking about doing it. And here's some benefits. And then also I let them see, if let's just say someone wants to sell and they want their cash right now. I said, okay, well, I'm just curious. What would be the tax benefit? What's going to be the tax consequence if you sell?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with the money once you do sell?
Yeah.
And I let them see that there's actually a cost to sell and problems, and then I come up with a solution to fix it.
Yeah.
With them, if I can. There's some that I can, and I like to be ethical about it because I always tell the seller this too: is if you're confused, don't make a decision. And also, I want to make sure you understand everything because it's like we're married together for this time because you're going to be the bank. So I want you to understand. Let's create it together. Like that kind of talk, you'll be amazed what you can come up with and do. Even in New York City, the Empire State Building is under a master lease.
Wow. So it's basically the same structure right now.
Someone is owning it. Billionaires do, yeah. Procter & Gamble just did a 999-year master lease.
Wow.
See, so even the big people, it's just now taking it and come down to these smaller little projects and explaining what the big boys are doing on their, I hate to say it, but on their level, like on their properties, you know. So it's old stuff. It's just, we've taken it and just, we've learned how to be strategic with how we move it by layering the different types of strategies.
Yeah.
That nerdy stuff, right?
It's very interesting. Very interesting. So what do you? Because then the next thing is like, how do you pick a good deal? Like, when do you know it's a bad deal? Area, price, opportunities for growth. Like, what are you looking for there when you like, boom, I know?
Well, I mean, that's a big big answer actually.
I heard a lot of people that say it's a feeling thing. They know intuition-wise
that too, but it's kind of like this. One thing that Grant Cardone, because we're here at GrowthCon, Grant Cardone said something that stood out to me. Billionaires overpay for everything.
Yeah.
So does that mean they're really getting a good deal? Yes, no. What it is they see the potential and the future of it. Also, it depends on the terms. So let me ask you a question. Would you, how much do you think your place is worth in Bali? Or just name a house in Bali, like, man, there's a house for sale in Bali and it's this much. That's just ridiculous. Name any home, any price.
Let's just do like $1 million, $1.5 million. I know a friend, he just built a brand new,
Would you buy it? Maybe, right? Because it's beautiful, right? But let's just say he said, hey, I'll sell it to you for $3 million. Would you buy it?
So then it's the inexperience that would be like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing is, if he said he would sell it to me for $4 million, would you buy it? Is it a deal?
Yeah,
it's starting to get harder, right?
Yeah.
The thing is if he said, I'll sell it to you for $4 million, but you only have to pay $1,000 a month until it's paid off.
Yeah.
You're thinking, you know what? I think I'll do that.
Yeah, you lower the barrier. It's like a digestible number.
So if the terms match, I would buy it. You see?
Interesting, yeah.
So that's one thing. Number two is if it's a rental property and it's like homes, that's one thing compared to like high-end apartments. So if it's like, we use the word ghetto here, and I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but if I have to take my guns to go get rent, you're usually going to actually make more.
Yeah.
The property sells cheaper, you'll make more income. But then you got more headache. But then if you make less money, it's usually, but like Starbucks, they're all renting these places, but they're probably, the sellers are probably making 2 or 3% on their money, but they also don't have to worry about anything. You see? Yeah. So it's kind of a give or take. So that's another thing. And then, now if you just want to know from a basic investor point of view, hey, there's a single family home, we're going to go look at it, and I want to make sure that it's worth it. I always check what they call the PHER, P-H-E-R. That's plumbing, heating, and air. All right, electric and roof. That's the 4 top for a single family home. So that's another thing. If you're looking at multifamily, it has its own things. The walking score. So this is what Grant would look. He would be looking at that building and say, okay, here's the walking score. Yeah. Can you walk to certain stores? Can you walk toward the bus stop? What if they get a DUI? Is there a bus stop nearby where they can still get to work?
Yeah.
You see? Yeah. So you've got to look at those things and take those into factor. So the answer to what your question is depends on what you're looking at.
Yeah.
And it's usually common sense once you hear, like, that makes sense. Is there a bus stop near there in case my tenants get a DUI or can't drive?
Yeah.
You want to know also politics. So California is horrible for single family because you can't get them out of the home. New York, can't get them out. There's also, a bunch of regular red tape that they put around for certain things. So I tend to like the South. I'm the Southeastern guy, so I like Georgia and Texas and Florida and Tennessee. To me, those are the best areas because the red states, to be honest with you. And, they actually let you, they protect the landlord. It still leans more toward the tenant, but at least the landlords can get their property back if the person's robbing them, basically.
Right. Yeah. And then the taxes and then interesting. Yeah. So one thing, for example, in Bali, there's a lot of these complex with, 10 units, lofts, apartment, newer, modern and stuff. Would you ever go in and touch some of those where it's like you have 10 of the same, but let's say I just wanted to go in and then I want to pick 2, I want to take 2 of them. Is that a good investment, or is that a dangerous one? To
take 2 out of the 10? Well, even here in Vegas or in Atlanta, is usually if they're all together, there's an HOA. Yeah. So I have bought some. Actually, I'm selling one condo that I did buy. There's 1 out of 50 or 60 in that little condominium, but the HOA, they don't want you to rent then they can come back and say, hey, look, we've been taking HOA fees, but now we want to change the roof and everyone needs to pay this amount. If someone drowns in the pool and sues and it goes above the HOA's insurance, they sue everyone in the apartment complex. So I would be looking at that. I would try and buy everything in the
whole lot.
You need to make the goal to do that. If you're going to do that's just my opinion. So I don't like condos, random condos.
I heard that, because it's the same, like what's the potato? It's when you're going to sell it again.
Exactly. So if there's a way you can buy from all of them, then you could try and do it. It's just each seller now you're doing a ton of negotiations.
Yeah.
But I assume Bali would be great though if you could get a whole 10 unit like that.
Yeah.
And you've been telling me about the rental prices. Wow, it'd be amazing.
It's just the land price right now. It's I don't know how we can calculate it into USD, but what's 1 R? Do you know that, Patrick? 1 square? I can't remember, but typical one or two bedroom, it would be 2 or 3 R. Just the land price has gone from it's like 5x just in the land, and then as we talked about, it's a 25-year lease, and then you put the place on.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So if you have eyes for that right now, a place like Bali is you just move further and further out because it's an underdeveloped place. It's a little bit like Hawaii. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
I need to go to Bali.
You have to
see Patrick and go out there and see you.
Have to do some bicep curls, eat some,
Oh, y'all gotta help me get a 6-pack and get jacked like this. Look at his arms over there. Gosh, look at these things. They're dangerous.
But you are what I noticed just from speaking to you right now. You're an excellent salesperson.
You think so? I thought I was just nerding out.
No, but that's so I've been in sales-ish basically since I was 16. And I love the energy there's in that space. I'm probably leaning a little bit more towards the Grant Cardone side, a little bit more, rah. But I do, when I hear you speak and when I hear you say, hey, I want to bring people together, it's going to be, I can hear why you're successful.
Oh, wow. Well,
I can really see that because I could see why 6 people will sit around a table and all 6 people will feel amazing leaving that table.
Oh, man, I appreciate that.
So that's the thing. So what do you, what have you done in that space? Meaning, are you aware of it? Is it just a personality thing? How have you really understand the game of negotiation and sales?
Well, it's funny because you say I'm good at sales, but really what I'm doing is I'm buying from a seller. Yeah. So I'm actually selling them the thought to let me buy something from them, right? And I truly, because I'm a nerd, so I understand, because I'd say 99% of the time, I am buying it and making sure it is a win for them. Every once in a while, a seller will have a certain circumstance. For example, this one guy was going to sell me a house, give me the deed, and we do seller financing. But I just said, no. Due to this, and that, we shouldn't do it. That we need to let me lease it with an option. And then and he's like, why would you not just let me give you the deed? Why, it'd be better for my terms. Problem is it would hurt him. And my grandma always said this. We call her Big Mom. She says, don't ever do anything because nothing's ever worth going to hell over. Yeah. So in my opinion, and how I do is I know that whenever I do something,
do right.
And the people say win-win all the time, but they don't really mean it. Me, if it's not a win-win, I can't sleep at night. I want to feel
amazing.
good.
It's amazing.
And that's the truth. It's just in my stomach. Plus, and then if you want to go to the second thing is, if I'm doing a deal with you and do you think I want to do a deal with you once or do I want to do a deal with you over 40 years?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if I'm doing a seller finance deal with you or any kind of deal with any partner or friend that I meet, I think long term. Billionaires think in decades. Poor people think in right now. What can I get now?
Yeah.
So I feel like if I believe in it, I can negotiate it and sell it, as you say, because I know it's a win. So I know the tax reasons of why that seller should sell to me the way they do.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it. But I didn't know. I've never heard someone say I'm just an amazing salesperson. But
no, but exactly what you just said. That I can't go to sleep if I don't. 100% sure that it's a win-win. And I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And who said it too? It says if you're calling someone to sell them, then it's tough because now it's like this whole game.
Yeah.
But if you have the mentality, I'm calling them to give them money.
Yeah.
then it's easier. Like, man, I'm trying to give you. Then you're going to, I hate to say persuade, but you're going to persuade them in a different way.
Yeah.
And also from real estate stuff, because I'm not you met my whole team, good guys, right? I don't want to be the guru. I don't like the thought guru because it sounds scammy, right?
Yeah.
I don't like. So I said, well, what's our real mission? Our mission is we want to build future partners.
Yeah.
And the more people who know us and the more people we meet, maybe they'll bring us opportunities that they can't handle, or maybe we have deals we don't want, we can pass them.
Yeah.
But if they end up watching our stuff, learning from us, and not partnering with us, they'll rip off and duplicate what we're doing, and we're happy.
Yeah.
And they'll talk good about us, and that just keeps I love win-win-win. So to me, I think that's important. And also, I realized I had to be pushed. So I told you when I was 25, I listened to that guy with the rules. It took me 5 years to get started. The only reason I got my first deal is because a 20-year-old kid, when I was turning 30, I got a property under contract, and I went to cancel it because I was afraid. He pushed me kind of hard, like Grant Cardone, what he pushed, do. Because he knew it would be good for me.
Yeah.
But because he pushed me to get out of my comfort zone and do it, I did it, and then I got 60 homes within 5 months after that.
Yeah.
Then 180 the second year, and then I just kind of compound. So I think that 20-year-old kid who pushed me. So in my job, in my experience, if I don't push my team or the people that are around me to get into it and just do it, to find out it's not so dangerous. You know, like some people like really say, I can never do it, or I got to have a lot of money or credit, or blah, blah. They're nervous, you know. It's scary. It's a big deal.
Unknown,
But if I help them get past 1 or 2 or 3, they'll never need me again. That's my mentality.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why I'm able to sell it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. And you know, I love what you're saying in terms of the guru, the social media. Like the more people that know me, you know what I mean? A lot of the times people have a negative association to it. It's like, oh yeah, you just want to like build more and make more. But it's like, no, if we can have more people to know us, we can help them.
Absolutely.
I think that shines through when you
it's
come
no
from that.
different than what you do, man. You teach fitness and stuff. You have to push the people.
Yeah.
You're pushing people to do what they want to do but don't do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So what would you? So let's say you know you're the fitness guy right now. You know what I mean?
Man.
And you're
Let me suck it in real quick.
Get the arms up. And you're speaking to your twin brother, or you're speaking to someone. You know what I mean? And he needs to get in shape. He needs to change up in some things. But he's like, I'm a bit scared. Or I'm like, I can't change that. So what would you do to do your selling thing or your communication thing on a guy like that?
So we used to teach martial arts, so that's the only way I'd be able to relate any kind of similar experiences. We taught police officers, and we'd have these huge guys, I hate to say it, huge police officers come in, and they'd punch like this, like with their thumb in like that. Okay, so do this with your hand, like, but do a little nasty punch, almost like a girl would punch.
Oh, like
I'm talking about, he had it wrong, like this. And I don't come up and say, stupid. I don't do that.
Right.
But do it again. I said, oh, good job. Now, try it like this. Now, take your thumb out.
Right.
Very good. You want to make sure that this thumb's here, because if it's here, it keeps this part weak.
Educate.
There you go. Good job. Now, try it again.
Yeah.
So I would number one, motivate them so that they see that it's not, because right when they get started, they're going to be, oh man, because they're going to be sore after the first time. Some people feel like they're going to have a heart attack after they've worked out and they haven't done it in a while. I've noticed,
Yeah.
So I'd motivate them. Second thing is I would let them see, look, I know this is the beginning. I would show them this is what it's going to be like, and I'm here for you. And then I'm here to push you. I'm here to push you to do what you need to do. You want to do it, but you don't do it. Michael Jordan is the best basketball player, or LeBron James, best basketball player. But then they got this little tiny white dude being their coach that can't even move for all I know. I don't know what their coaches look like, but he's pushing them to do what they need to do. Even Michael Jordan needs a coach. You do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's going to be, and then I would just hold them accountable too. That would be the thing. I'm going to be here to hold you accountable. And then the next thing I would do is I would put them in a room with similar people, so they say, look, we're all starting together. And you see?
Yeah.
That's my thought.
That's great.
Yeah, I don't know. How's your sales cycle now?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. It's like I'm more towards the other side. It's like, I need to definitely adapt more of that. I have a big heart. I want to help people. but I'm a lot more, what can you say?
You can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Military.
Yeah, a little bit more towards that, and it's like I love what you're saying there, because it's like it's they're just as scared for starting going to a gym as it is for your guys to invest into real estate. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's educating them and then bringing it down to their level, and then I think my thing sometimes with these people, it's like the patience. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, like, come on. You know what I mean?
You can do it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not answering his phone now. Do they ghost you guys sometimes?
We have a whole process with that. That's half the program. It's like, how do you keep people engaged?
Yeah. So here's a story I can tell you. My dad came to America. He couldn't speak English very well, but his older brother came and he spoke a little better English. So my dad's English was like Jackie Chan, but his older brother, he speaks pretty good, pretty clear.
Yeah.
And how do I put it? My dad's older brother, though, was so mean and like military. He came from the Rock Marines.
Yeah.
That he only had 11 people in 40 years get a black belt. But those 11 that did stay are like, they died doing martial arts or they still do it right now to this day.
Yeah.
My dad grew and he had hundreds of black belts. So he was able to touch more lives in that way. And then especially during like hard times, especially economic, it's my dad's older brother that failed, Now but I don't know, in work and exercises, you got to kind of keep it right. And also we're manly. We want we're running a lot of estrogen here, okay? I got a wife. We're running a lot of estrogen. We need some bro time,
Yeah.
But if you're trying to really go for the masses and stuff, I don't think you're going for masses. You're going after really specific, hard, like strong.
You want to go for ambitious men. You want to hang around with the
guys.
same.
Yeah. But if you're going, so yours is different. But if you're going like I don't know if I do Planet Fitness style. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But like you want to.
You have to touch. Yeah. You have to. Yeah.
And you got to be able to pay the bills, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think right in the middle. Is a good little piece.
Yeah. I think that's a good one. So speaking about your team, as we talked about, like great people. That's how we met. Mm-hmm. All young guys, and they all have the same energy as you. Like I was speaking to Tim, and like there was the first time I was like, God damn, like he's so present. You know what I mean? He's so calm. He's not anywhere. He's even what was the guy with the white shirt I spoke to yesterday at the networking right in front of you when we met?
Was it David?
Younger guy. I thought you were related. You had the same hair.
Probably David. He has black hair too.
Yeah. White shirt on there. Yeah. Same thing. I'm like, why are you guys so nice? You know what I mean? All of you are like just, but it's like it's actually hard to come across these days. You go to a lot of these business things and just people in general. People are just, they're not there. Okay, they're stressed out, and then they're like just in it for themselves, and you can see that and you can smell that. So I guess from your standpoint, what are the keys to building a team like that? You're obviously a leader. So like, how do you go about consciously building guys like that, or is it basically unconsciously just because of who you are?
Oh, that's a great question. So this is my second time building a team. First team was Taekwondo. So when I was 22, I opened my first school. By the time I was 30, we had opened 5 Taekwondo schools. So the team that I had then, oh man, I had the best team. Still have most of them to this day. Some have married or gotten off, and because we had some girls in there too. But I was very picky. I want to feel like I'm almost working with family, or if you want to put it like in the military, you'll die together, but you'll live together and you'll fight together. Like I wanted people that would be in the trenches with me.
Yeah.
And I made sure that they were very well taken care of. So in Taekwondo, I paid their house where they lived, their car payment.
How could you do that there? How could you do that at that level? Taekwondo club, like, did you have the finances for that?
Well, funny enough, when I was 22, I opened a school. I was only doing two days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 2 45-minute classes per day. So it was an hour and a half a day. We did $40,000 the first year. Then we did the second year when I was 23, we did $180,000. And I'm like, man, I like this. So opened up the next school. And then it wasn't until years later that we ended up doing like a third and a fourth. But no, we were making almost $800 to $1 million a year in karate schools, if you think about it. I was like, man, I remember, but it was kind of funny. We had this McDonald's lady come to us and says, "Are you guys really going to take care of your family doing karate?" And I just remember that. And then all my staff is sitting there like, man, like people really judge you because they look down because you're a karate school teacher, But we were doing pretty well, and I really enjoy. I miss teaching Taekwondo. My whole team does. We still own 2 of the schools now. We sold off some of the other ones and stuff, but we learned a lot about retention, I guess is what I'm saying, is Chick-fil-A. I love Chick-fil-A. But so they focus, instead of just, they want good quality, but they focus on their staff, their well-being, and they're like that with them. So I made a good family base out of my Taekwondo school group. And so we took care of them. They even loved living together. We traveled together. We worked together. We worked on weekends. We hung out like just real close. Now that I've gotten older, though, and I'm married, so I can't do that like that with this second. But I told them, I said, what I did is, and the reason I'm saying is I have entrepreneur guys. I don't have to be there to just say, do this, do that, like the staff.
Yeah.
And they're ambitious. I give them goals. They see the direction where we're going. They don't see just the potential I have. They see the potential in our team together if we can make this work.
Yeah.
So, and they're all starting to stay in their lane, and we figured out that we have blind confidence together, and we're very big. So I've only been doing this with these guys since June. We started doing education.
Oh, so that's a brand new.
Man, the education, we've only been doing it since June, but we've already fired multiple people if they don't fall in line with what we want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One toxic person come in, cause drama and chaos. And I want people that are in the same vision. And there's this thing. Have you ever seen the Founder movie with
the McDonald's?
Steve Jobs or whatever?
Oh, the Steve Jobs one, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Founder. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That was the Apple founder. It's with Steve Jobs and Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
There's a scene whenever he fires that one. What is it?
Go out, leave out. You're not believing. In the room. Yeah.
And they say he's the best here. He goes, he's the best that didn't get the vision. Remember?
Yeah.
So I'm staying strict to that. So that's
love that. Is that kind of like your razor? So obviously, values and personality traits, but is that your razor? They don't believe in the vision.
They don't believe in the vision, or there's some ethical thing there. I just get rid. I've learned too, because I'm 38 years old. The best things that happened in my life are all the friends that kind of drifted apart from me, or honestly, I just cut out at a young age.
Yeah.
Or there's some people I held on that were too toxic. I should have got rid of them sooner. So I just usually cut to the chase right away. Be nice. I'll be your friend with them. We just don't work together. I love my dad, for example. I would never do business with my dad, but I love my dad, you know? So it's kind of like that. Like I can go vacation with my dad and all this, but I don't think we want to work together. You don't want to go there, So I'm just kind of picky.
Yeah.
And I love the guys. I really want to connect with them on a personal level too. So
Yeah, so you say that like that's the so back to the obviously the Taekwondo thing, because I think for a lot of myself included, when you're growing, a smaller size business, you might not have all, like you think, like if you can buy lunch for everybody and take everybody out and you want to buy their home and stuff, how do you go about creating that family unit, one, and then also two, like creating that vision so I can see where we could be in 5 years from now, even though right now, like guys, we got to work and we don't really know the next step, like the next year, even though we can speak about it in an inspirational way.
Well, Taekwondo is kind of an interesting thing. So the kids, you have to think, we took kids from the age of 3 and 4 and 5. So they have an I can't do it attitude, or mommy's going to do it for me. And it's our goal to come in there and give them an I can do it. So we give them something that almost seems impossible to do. So we have them break a board and they try and do it, they can't do it. And then we sit down, we talk to them, encourage them, and then they break it and I see their face like, then we've taught them, you can get past boundaries. Look what you can achieve. You're a white belt, you're 3 years old, you just broke your first board.
Yeah.
And then every little bit, there's certain things that you have to add, like rewards. It's kind of like this. That mountain is really tall. So let's say it's our goal to get to the top. We're going to work really hard. Once we get to the top, now we got to go back down.
Yeah.
Right? So we need to enjoy the journey going up. It's going to suck going down because it's harder, apparently, is what they say. Now we're going to go to the next. So I'm always giving them a new goal. So in Taekwondo, it taught me this. Is there's white, yellow, there's different belts. Black belt is the goal, but let's just get that next belt. And so that helped me. So I just channeled that over into the staff that we have now. Or really my team, my family, because we're all in it together. And I let them say that, look, I'm going to do my part, you do your part. Here's the goal, here's the vision, here's what we're going to do. Black belt is our goal, let's go for it. So it's kind of the same thing, I guess, is what I've kind of just put in their mind.
Yeah, so you're painting that, you're just painting the, because I think we all have dreams and visions and stuff. It's just, how do you get everybody aligned on that and then on the journey,
Ooh, yeah, so it's kind of funny because we're at a growth con right now, but when I was in Taekwondo, going back to that, I guess, is I went and traveled to 11 different schools and didn't tell them that I had new martial arts. I just wanted to see how they'd sell me, how they'd treat me, and how successful they were to see if this is even worth pursuing. So I took all the good things that I liked from each of those, and I came back to my team and I said, look, if we do this, this, and that, here's what we can achieve and here's what we can do. Right now, to this day, we have the largest Taekwondo school in all Northwest Georgia. I bought an old Sears building. I don't know if you know what Sears is, but we bought an old Sears building, and we have our Taekwondo school in there. We have a gymnastic school in there too. We even taught cheerleading for a while. We host our own tournaments. And also, I took them to other tournaments to let them, as fast as it sounds, compare to the other people. So we met the tip-top people, and then we met the people that just barely get by. And I said, which one do you want to be like? If we do this, we'll be able to be like these guys. If we don't, we're going to be like these guys. No offense, because each person has their own success based upon their mind, but where do we want to be? So I guess I just kind of let them see that and visualize. And then also, it's constantly me telling them, here's the vision, here's what we got to do, here's the mark, here's the goal, good job, and motivate them. And they usually all come on board because, like I said, if you choose the right people with the, those ambitious people, it's like me asking you, man, how do you get these ambitious people to want to grow? They're ambitious. It's part of them. And I have that. Colin, Tim, David, Austin, Jordan, all these guys, they have that in them. So it's not that hard. I guess I'm lucky. I have a great team too. You have Patrick over here. He needs to stop flexing over there.
You probably heard his biceps down his mind holding that camera.
You got that vein popping out. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's good.
Because so then you also hear a lot of people talk about, like, we were doing that podcast yesterday where, people told him, like, oh, people are not like you, don't be like that, have more patience and stuff. Like, I hear you say that I don't need to micromanage these guys because they're already ambitious and high achiever. So when you look at your team right now, obviously they have different skills, but how do they fit into like one unit? Because Patrick is different, I'm different, my other team member is different. How do you make sure that they are all aligned even though they're different people?
Yeah, so here, that's actually a really, it goes back to mindset, right? So my mindset is because I'm 38 years old and the youngest guy on my team is 22. Even when I was 22, even when I was 24 and I started making a little bit, because for a 24-year-old making 180 grand teaching like 3-4 hours a week, pretty good money for a kid, right? But me looking back, comparing even to myself, I'm older, so I have years behind me now. So I know what it feels like to have urgency mindset, scarcity mindset. Grant Cardone actually had a video. Actually, I was talking to a guy named Alan about this yesterday. Is whenever COVID happened, Grant Cardone put on a video on one of his YouTube videos saying, the world's over. He was freaking out. I can imagine him walking into his office and you would think he'd motivate him. Everything's going to be okay. No, I bet he walked in and said, it's over. We're done. He fired 150 people and got rid of all these teams and all that stuff. So, because he has the experience and the mindset because he's been through the horrible stuff. Now, that's a very extreme thing. So me, if I have to say challenge, my challenge with any people who come in on the board, even if I come underneath you and I'm trying to learn the fitness game, you have to, because number one, I got to get in shape. Number two, I got to learn how to teach the way. There's certain little bits and pieces, but I've got to say be goal oriented. So this is what I did for them. Colin and Tim were the first two guys that joined underneath me. I said, most people, it took me 5 years to get a first deal, and any student who comes underneath us is going to take months to get the first deal. You guys have just started. I got a wheel, and I spun the wheel, and it had different cities on it. And whatever city it landed on, they had to go there and then get a deal done in 7 days.
Interesting.
So then I did that for Colin. And I forgot to say this, on the wheel, there's a place that says no hotel. Colin hit no hotel. So he had to go. I think he went to Tampa, Florida. He had no hotel, so he had to stay in a car.
Right.
He slept in it, and in 7 days get a deal. Tim, he got Orlando, Florida, and he flew there, and he got a hotel. He didn't hit the bad part, but he had to get a deal in 7 days. So it teaches them, be obsessed and get it within that time. So for example, if I say, can you get me 100 new? Okay, can you get 100 new students underneath you paying Patrick within the next 7 days?
It'd be tough, but
It'd be
you could.
tough.
Yeah.
If I pay you $1 billion, could you get 500? You're like, ooh, man, that's it.
Yeah.
It's all of a sudden, right? Yeah. So that's the kind of goal I can say, look, you can do it. It's just you got to be incentivized, right? And just you got to get out of I can't do that, or that'd be tough, into I can do that. As soon as I break past that, they'll be able to accomplish anything. So that's the first one, and do it within the timer. So Elon Musk, it took him, what was it, 8 months to build his entire Tesla factory in Texas, wasn't it? I think it's 8 to 10. It takes someone 4 years to do that, usually, or 10 years to do it. He said, no, if you just got to make the goal and do it within that time. And there's a 10-10-10 rule, You should be able to, what is it? It has to be if you're going to do a business or do any business, you have to get whatever your goal done in 10 months. It has to have the ability to make $10 million a year. Even if you don't get it, that's okay, but it has to have the ability. And it has to last 10 years. Like in 10 years from now, is that still going to exist? And it should only take 10% of your time after the first 10 months. If it hits all of that, but that takes mindset.
Wow,
it's not just ability. Your ability will come underneath what your belief is.
Yeah.
So I can do it. I'm going to do it within this time frame. And you have to be obsessed to just do it. Because for me, sorry, I'm just blabbing, you guys.
No, it's good.
It took me 5 years to get my first deal. And I had to be pushed by a 20-year-old kid. And to do that one deal, it took me 8 months to get it because I did HGTV style. I did the whole buy, fix, and flip thing. I didn't know what I was doing at the time. It took me 8 months to do it. We bought it in January, sold it in August, and then from August to December, I bought 60 homes as a 30-year-old that didn't know. I'd only done one deal. I got obsessed. Every night, I would be sourcing during the day. I'd be texting and calling, and I'd be walking properties. I got a billion no's, but I got 60 yeses, and that's all that mattered, and it changed my life. 60 probably became a millionaire again, like right off the get-go. Then it became easier. Then you got to get past the settle stage. You should settle down like family, but you shouldn't settle in your business because what doesn't grow dies. So then I had to go through that and say, oh no, I gotta every day you have to wake up and start from zero. And we're at GrowthCon, so I'm going to bring up Grant again. He said on his YouTube video, he goes to zero twice a year. And I always said, that can't be right. I mean, where's your reserves? Yeah. Now that I've been following it, I went to zero. I remember I got my first $2.9 million. I blew it within like 60 days.
On stuff or in
assets. And then I made another million or 2.1 after that, or $1.9 million or 2.1. I blew it in the next 20, 30 days. And I was like, man, it really is true. You could do that. And then it just compounds.
Because you get the cash flow.
Mr. Beast says that. Yeah. He puts it back, And you don't.
But you need the cash flow. That's the thing, right?
Yeah. You have to get to that point. But what I'm saying is, if you can get whatever thing that you need to do done in 10 months, then you can start. Because right now people have past, present, future. Past is like debts. Present is present day. Then how are you supposed to focus on the future if you got the past lowering you down and then you got the present day you're struggling? Take 10 months of suffering. I call it the cockroach phase. Suffer like a cockroach for 10 months and sacrifice. Get to the point you need to be, and then you can start building your future. And so that's my challenge, is with my team. We got young people. I've got to teach that urgency. I got to say, do it within this time. I got to make sure they have the I can do it. Because even for me, I'm looking at this and I say, could I build that for $500 million? He's like, that's intimidating sounding on the Las Vegas Strip. But you got to believe that you can do it and try and say, how can I do it? And then you can. Yeah. That's how it works.
It's a mindset. It's like even though, oftentimes it's skills, but, for myself being an entrepreneur now for, almost 10 years, it's like, you have that can-do attitude, or at least I can learn.
Oh,
Like
exactly.
I need to learn something. There's a skill deficiency, but I will find a way. I think
Yeah, and
that's
see,
great.
you could mentor me too. You can say, Shane, your whole life can change in 6 months.
Yeah.
You got to drink more water.
Yeah.
Drop the Coca-Cola, because that is my Coca-Cola. You gotta
Right,
drink
right.
that water. Eat like, it's the first couple months that's going to be the hardest. Your
Yeah.
body's going to have reactions to that. You're going to be sore the first 2 weeks. It's going to be the hardest one.
Yeah.
You're going to feel like you're having a heart. But you see how it feels
Yeah.
to look like that. Look at these guys.
Yeah.
You know, it's
you have the
game-changing.
outcome, you have the result.
And
Yeah.
it could add years of my life and help me even live longer for my family. So,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So-
No, it's amazing. That's the 10 months thing. So would you look at, like, if you went into anything new, let's say real estate aside right now, you already know the game.
Yeah.
Would you still say that?
Yeah, so we're going to get into M&A. I've only done like one little deal, and I didn't even mean to. It's just I bought a real estate deal that had a business in it, and I sold the business. So we bought a building, 2 buildings, and a business for $1.2 million or $1.3 million. Bought it, and I said, man, I don't know how to run that business. So I sold the business for $1 million, kept the buildings, and now we have those for sale for $2.9 million. I was like, man, that's pretty cool. You can add a business game into it. So that's actually what we were having a whole meeting yesterday with my team. I said, look, Colin's going to really focus heavily on the real estate. We're going to start doing hotels and stuff. But I'm going to try and focus on some M&A, which is mergers and acquisition. We'll buy and help scale business, because I've scaled Taekwondo. I don't know many Taekwondo schools that make $1 million, or
Yeah.
So I was like, man, and a lot of them are shutting down. I said, man, we can fix that, or we'll buy them.
Yeah.
So I want to, not just in Taekwondo, but I think I can do that in any, but I'm the nerdy behind the scenes guy.
Right.
So I feel like I'm going to do it. So that's new. So I said 10 months. Or I told them, I said, let's do something crazy. If we're going to do it really hard, let's do 100 businesses in 12 months. We'll fail on 60 of them, and that's cool. Maybe we'll keep 40 or 30 of them, but that's okay. How much will I learn, and how much will we have made?
Yeah.
I think we can do it.
Yeah.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
That would be cool.
Wow.
But you need a cushion for that. You need money to, like, play that game.
Well, that's the main thing that I hear from people saying why they can't get into real estate is I need money. But
Yeah.
it depends on the terms and how you do it.
So you would look at the same thing in the businesses and stuff.
Real estate, most people think cash, financing,
Yeah.
lease. There's 33 different ways to buy real estate. And in businesses, there's 210
Yeah.
more creative.
Yeah.
So if anything, it should be easier. And more people are retiring in the United States. 10,000 people a day for the next, I forget how many years, are retiring every day. And their business owners, they're either shutting their businesses down or selling them cheap.
Yeah.
So I think it's a perfect time for me to come in and buy them.
And take over, yeah.
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 We'll do it in Bali.
Yeah. Come up then, we will open a wellness facility and
There you go.
put 200 units around that.
There you go. There you go.
I actually met an interesting guy on the plane over here. He's Irish, but lived in the US for many years, and he's opening the largest retreat resort place in Mexico right now.
Oh my gosh.
Huge compound, and then he just puts 300 units around. I'm like, same question. I'm like, dude, how did you start that? Like, you need a lot of cash for that. He's like, no, we just started, bought the land, and then just grew from there. Investors and stuff came in.
That's crazy.
You know?
Enough. And now there is one real estate. This is a nerdy real estate thing. There's a guy I met, and he don't want to do a podcast to be online much, but he's in San Diego. He doesn't build in San Diego. He builds in Colorado. But his smallest deal he does is $150 million. And I said, how do you finance that, and how much down? Like, he goes, he puts $3 million per every 100 million. How do you know what I mean? So there's some smart guys, and then I think he probably even raised the $3 million just to give other people a piece of it. But it's amazing. Now I have a question for you. So what's the top 5 things that Shane So I need to do when I get back to Georgia to look like you guys?
To look like us. I've become very big on sleep, like over the last many years.
Okay.
Like, and it's a boring one, but stop work. I would say whatever 2 or 3 hours before you have to go to bed. Finish eating, and then create like some sort of like night routine where you can get into a good night's sleep.
I like that. Okay.
Dim light, read, write, journal, whatever you want to do. Be with your girlfriend, but like calm and not have anything going on the last few hours before you go to bed.
Okay.
Get to bed early. Okay, I'm in bed by 9 o'clock right now, so that's early. I don't know about you.
No, I usually go to bed around 12 or 1.
12 or 1.
But I wake up at 8 or 9 though. I'm not I'm a late night person. Yeah.
Yeah. which is fine. There's no right or wrong. I just personally I like the mornings. You know what I mean? More than anything else. So, get up in the morning, and then I would do something straight away. Either you just go for a walk. You move your body. I like stretching in the morning. Hydrate. I take my vitamins and stuff, and then I do my cold plunge and sauna. So
cold plunge and sauna. Okay.
Cold plunge and sauna straight away. Like you get into that with some sunlight and move your body a stretch, and then cold plunge and sauna, which you can install that. And you can do that in 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Oh, man. Okay.
Boom,
okay.
and you're on with the day.
Okay.
That would be the two sort of like routine things. And then whatever you get into your deep work or whatever way you start your day, that would be what I would put in place there. Now, from fast result standpoint, in terms of your nutrition and training, then I would look at how many meals do you eat right now?
It depends on the day, but probably 3 to 4 a day.
Yeah, so 3 to 4 is pretty good. And then you exercise or gym, or what do you do now?
We walk. We'll do some gym every once in a while, but I've been slacking on the gym. That's why I don't have this.
That's why we need to get into that. Yeah. So I would let's say you start with 3. You just start with 3 right now. Split it up Monday, Wednesday, Friday, full body.
3. Okay.
Yeah, 3.
Okay.
Where you do some sort of like weights and resistance, and then you just do your walking and your cardio. I would do 3 to 4 meals a day, and I will place my meals with carbohydrates before and after the workout, and then keep the rest of the meals protein only. So my little caveat to you is: do you eat meat?
I love meat. Yes, I'm a carnivore.
Yeah. Boom. So you do steak, you do ribeye for dinner, just that one steak, and that's it. You know what I mean? And then the 2 meals, let's say you have 3, that's where you put your carbohydrates in. So if you like oatmeal or you like fruit in the morning with eggs, boom. And then I would do a workout. And then I would do like another lunch meal where you do a little bit more of a complete meal with rice or sweet potato and stuff. If you just do that with these 3 meals.
That'll change a ton.
And you do 3 workouts a week, and you get your steps up and stuff, and you get your sleep dialed in, and you get up in the morning, you get some sunlight and your vitamins. Or you do that for 90 days, you will be shredded.
I'm going to do it. Yeah. I'm going to learn that then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would be my challenge to you, But the back to your thing, the 10 months thing there, that shocked me. I'm like, because sometimes you just need people, as you said, to tell you you can do it now, like Grant Cardone, like 90 days, whatever, undercover billionaire program.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, imagine that.
Because undercover, what, it's $100, cell phone with no contacts.
Yeah.
Thrown in a random city.
Yeah.
And just do it.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
Exactly, yeah. So obviously, as you even said in the elevator, like you're more of a calm guy, as you said, more introverted by nature.
Yes.
What's your take then on networking, getting yourself out there? You guys want to do bigger and bigger events right now. How crucial is it for you to meet strangers, meet new people?
Oh, man. Grant, we're talking about Grant a lot, but it's not who you know, it's who knows you, right? So the next $1 million idea that you have is in someone else's mind. That's just the honest truth. I wouldn't have been in real estate if I never would have met that gentleman that bought the pizza place next to me. I would have never been doing some of the creative financing stuff if I hadn't met this older gentleman or saw his YouTube video, fun enough. There's a lot, and even at conferences. So I went to a conference in Beverly Hills. It was a horrible real estate conference, so I don't want to say who it was, but it's just, I didn't learn nothing. And I was still new, When I was sitting there, this young kid came and sat next to me, and he was like, bumping me. I was like, man, they had us crammed in there like sardines. And he was like 19, 20. He didn't know anything about real estate either.
How old were you there?
Huh?
How old were you there?
Oh, man, I was probably 31. I'd probably bought a few, I just bought a few homes, And he, talking to him, he was really nerding out about credit stuff. It helped change the way I manipulate debt, which helped me with my real estate game. And in the midst of it, just meeting, I bought 16 homes because I've met him. He owns 2 car washes, and he ended up marrying my best friend's sister. So you just never know who you'll meet where you can end up making millions of dollars, or just have a lifelong friend. I'm going to end up going to Bali now because I met you, and who knows what that'll open. So I think it's super important. I'm very introverted. I'm just the nerdy guy behind the scenes, But now I'm trying to come to the forefront and learn that, because even Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, they're building their personal brands.
Yeah.
You know, and they're already successful, so they see the importance of it. So I'm trying to get out of my shell and just make sure to do that. Like I said, what is that saying, that your net worth is your net worth, right?
Yeah.
It is 100% true, and I hate to admit it, because I want an excuse to hide. But
yeah, and I think especially like younger people today, you know, like we all work online. Like what I'm doing right now, that's what I said to Patrick earlier as well. I was supposed to move to the US, and I will eventually. I was in Australia for many years, grew up in Denmark, and I always have this voice in the back of my mind. It's like, go to the US. You got to be in the US. That's where you will meet people. That's where the opportunities are, and I truly believe in that. Now, with that said, there's also phases, you know what I mean? Like I'm in a phase in the business right now where we're like, you're sitting on a computer 12 hours a day, on calls, meetings, you know. So for me right now, I feel Bali is my perfect habitat, because I can work so many hours and I have good people around me. Now, all our customers is in places like this, all around, you know. So yeah, I'm glad you're also realizing that. So you obviously been building behind the scene, but now you see the next level for you would be that.
Yeah, and I wish I would have started 10 years ago doing that, but but it's very important, important.
Yeah. So you've been coached or worked with Grant, I saw Ty Lopez, Richard Branson, like you've done some stuff with.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I didn't have a mentor when I first started. I met that guy who told me he did real estate, but he ghosted me. I just had to figure it out, you know. Yeah. And I said, man, if I would have had a mentor or been around the right groups, I would have been so much more successful.
Yeah.
So I started going to conferences, going to these meetings. I spent tens of thousands of dollars meeting people. Like I said, I met that young guy at a horrible conference. Yeah. But the people who you meet is the most worth it, I'm telling you. Yeah. Then I said, man, now I need the mentor, but I went and sought out so many locally where I'm at. And they would talk to me, but they really wouldn't, take me under the wing. Maybe it's because I'm old now, I don't know. But I said, man, so I'm just going to, sometime you got to pay to play. So Grant Cardone, paid him $100,000 for 4 hours of mentorships. I've only done 2 out of the 4.
When did you do that? Like
I did that
this year, or?
In 2023. It was January when I paid. I think I saw them in May.
Oh, so you can just you can spread them out as much as you want. Oh, that's
that's
great.
just what. So I got 2 more. I'm probably going to see them soon. But so I met with him. Then since I was getting married, I wanted to be a good husband. I met with Elena to ask her, how do y'all balance all this stuff between you and Grant and the business and your kids, and how? And she sat down and explained exactly how to, they have it down to a T. Very good parents, by the way, and very, I'm just very impressed. And I ended up going to pay to see her again. Elena is great. So I'd say Grant and Elena were really, I paid for the mentorship, but I'm very happy. I made $888,000 from one call that Grant made on that first call, that first visit. So I got my money back. Almost 10x'd it.
In what way? Just because of corrections and everything, or
he contacted me with a certain lender that helped me do a cash out refinance with no tax consequence, and it actually changed my cash flow by $3,000, which was good. And it changed everything to do with one of the deals I was doing. So I was able to pull out $888,000 with no tax consequence.
So he gave you a lender? He gave you a contact?
He called the guy, connected me, and it was the best thing. So I'm very thankful for that. Then Ty Lopez, I've been working with him, going on my 2nd year with him, and he's helping me learn the personal branding. He's telling me, what does he say?
That's a good voice, though. Yeah, you don't. You're talking about farmland and stuff.
He goes, the world doesn't, what does he say? The world doesn't, what he says something about introverts. They punish introverts or something like that. I forget, because they reward the extroverts, not introverts. Yeah. So he's trying to help me, realize it's okay to be in front of a camera, and I've got to do this, and that, and do these events. So, we're just trying to rip off and duplicate what Grant done, rip off and duplicate what Ty done, and add our own little take to it. Yeah. He bought a mansion in Beverly Hills, or got one. He's renting one where he does parties. So we bought a mansion in Atlanta, and we're trying to do our little gatherings. Yeah. Richard Branson, he didn't mentor me, but we went to Necker Island with a guy named Glenn Stearns. He was on Undercover Billionaire, yeah. And I got to meet Richard Branson. Glenn Stearns, I would say, is a mentor. Like him and his wife are amazing. I don't know if you know much about Glenn.
Yeah, what was it? Insurance or what did he do?
He was a mortgage banker.
Mortgage broker. Yeah.
Yeah, and man, he had, what is it? He failed 4th grade, had a kid when he was 14, and he survived cancer twice and beat it all, and still became extremely wealthy. But even aside from being wealthy, if you meet Glenn, he is just. He's just a good guy, a good person. Great. So him and his wife, they'll, if I text them, they'll text me back. They'll take time out of their day to write me and spend time. We've been to their house a few times and just, he talks about what happens in tough times. How did he pivot? Or he always says, this too shall pass. Like, you just got to get past it. And sometimes it happens for a reason. And he's been through so much, and he's a veteran. He's able to help me, save 60 years of experience that he's helped me cram it down in a couple of years. So Glenn Stearns. Other mentors too would be some of the sellers that sold me really big properties. They ended up, just because they saw a young guy hungry to get in, and they ended up staying as friends, and now they're able to mentor me for other stuff.
Yeah.
One guy, he built all these malls, all of Albany. There's a mall. He's the one who developed that, and these golf courses. And he sold me 92 homes at one time, and that was a big change for me too. And he's still a friend. He's 85, and he's just mentored me and helped me meet banks and presidents of some of these banks and other wealthy people.
Wow.
And then Sharif Medawar. He does a lot of triple net lease stuff. Really, that's nerdy stuff for really high-end tenants. And he's changed my life. So these mentors have really, I guess they put all this knowledge in my head. Now I just got to go do it in that 10-month period. So I'm a big believer in mentors, peers like this, just like us, just learning, and like-minded people. And of course, we want to surround ourselves around like-minded teams. So
Yeah, and as you said, like you said, the kid that was sitting next to you. Sometimes it's you try to go out and meet people, but they might not have a direct connection. You know what I mean? Like, you're in real estate, like I'm in health and fitness. Very different, but still, it's people. You know what I mean? And there's so many things. How do you go about that in terms of what do you need right now? So you go to a guy like Grant Cardone for a certain thing, then you go to Tai Lopez. So okay, I go to Tai Lopez I need some personal branding. I need some different things. How do you go about picking your mentors in the different phases, like to be conscious about, like, I need to learn the right things?
Yeah, I'm going to answer, then I'm going to almost contradict it. You want to meet a bunch of different people in that. So if I want to learn M&A, Ty actually knows a lot of M&A, but you want to meet like a bunch of guys that do M&A and learn what they're doing so that you can learn bits and pieces. However, if you taking bits and pieces from too many, it's like a quilted blanket.
Yeah.
And it'll mess you up. So you can learn from a lot of people, but then choose one and follow his system. When I asked Grant, I said, Grant, who do I need to follow else in multifamily? He goes, it's just me. And I thought he was being cocky at first, but it wasn't that. What it is he knows the dangers of just keep going and learning. People get stuck in analysis paralysis and learn, and don't know action. But then I'm in Georgia. Okay, I don't know about how it is. We're in Bali for sure, or Australia, or Denmark. But there's people there. They don't know nothing about real estate, but they got a ton of it.
Yeah,
and I'm like, so it really, they just took action. They didn't learn. So I like to have a little bit of both. I want to have enough education and knowledge, a good mentor, and then just take action. Yeah. And as far as combining them together, I think every business needs to preserve their wealth in real estate, because that's what you pass to your kids. But then I think some people get just in real estate and then they don't do business. And here's the thing: real estate will make you a millionaire. M&A or business will make you a billionaire. That's the thing, right? So I have a 60-40 method. 60% of my stuff is in real estate. That's really boring, but it's stable, providing, stable, and I can pass to my children. 40% in business, okay? And then, of course, I need good fitness, right? So I can get good fitness, because that's rich too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I want to help you do real estate, because I think you need to do real estate.
Yeah.
And then, but everything we do is business. So it all ties together. So that's why our conference in May It's called the Pivot Summit. It's a Pivot Business Summit. We'll have 1,000 business people be there. And we're telling them, whenever you get stuck in this situation, how do you pivot?
Yeah.
How do you own these amount of businesses and do something else, but you're a key man in this, but how do we help you get out of it?
Yeah.
Marketing. Then Creator Summit, Influence Summit is in September, October, because we're telling the business owners, you have to have a personal brand and you need to preserve your wealth. And in real estate. And then we're telling the creative people, you actually need to make a business out of what you're doing, or you're going to end up being just a creator. And you need to preserve. He says so. It all goes hand in hand. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We need to add some fitness stuff in there.
Interesting, man. Yeah. No, I would love to come up there. So you say what, in May or?
Yeah, May 30th is the business one.
Right. What are we in now? We in March.
We're March. So yeah, we're about 2.5 months.
Oh my God, it's gonna be a jet lag. I would do it. I would do it to come and see you guys. It's gonna be a big flight, but that's.
You got to come stay with us. You can stay with us at our house. Come on.
No, that's
Bring
excellent.
Patrick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll have some dumbbells there for you guys.
That's good. Yeah. So what would you say? Like if you're taking one piece away from Grant Cardone, not just like be obsessed or be average, or like go all out. Like, what's one personable takeaway you take from a guy like Grant, Richard Branson, and then Tai Lopez, just individually, that really sticks with you as a core belief changer for you?
Grant was he wakes up every day as if he has zero.
And
Grant So I admire Grant so much. He's a good family man and all that, but he's in business. He's very transactional. He's like, just like, right? And that's okay. So, but I need that side very heavily because I'm more relationship. I'd rather not charge it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you end up giving all your time for free and it costs you money, but now you're over here helping a bunch of people. So I need to be a little bit more transactional sometimes on the things that take a lot of time from me and from my business and my family, right? Tai, his is very much personal branding. I think that is the good balance, the health, wealth, love, and happiness. Like, I love that fact that you got to have a good balance. You got to have all of that to be, because you can have all of it and not have happiness, and you're not going to be happy. You can be a good jacked guy, rich, and have all these good business, but then you won't be happy, right? And you won't have love, you won't have family. So I think that. Richard Branson, like I said, I just met him and just talked to him a little about finance. That's it. But so I'd like to use Glenn. The thing I took away from Glenn is, his is integrity, and he wrote a book called Integrity. You got to have good integrity.
What's the book called?
It's called Integrity. Integrity by Glenn. And it's just he talked about all the difficult times he went through, and you can persevere. So you need to know how to handle pressure. And low times. And as a business, we go through a lot of low, lonely times, and you got to keep going forward. Because entrepreneurship really is
it's tough.
It's lonely. Everyone's not. Think about this. 1% is the most wealthy, right? 99% of the time, that means you're getting the wrong advice. And then out of that 1%, they're little millionaires, and they're giving you bad advice. They're the most scared, cheapest people I've ever met. But then the 0.01% of the 1% are the billionaires. They give the best advice. And we can't get access to them all the time, right? So it's very lonely, especially if you're thinking like a billionaire.
Interesting. This is good. I really. Do you get something out of this, bro? I'm fired up. I'm like full on in. That's. Like I did one podcast with Mike Shield. Actually, he was one of the top producers from Grant Cardone's team.
Oh wow!
A long time ago. But I was watching that podcast back myself twice.
Oh, I need to watch it.
I'm literally just thinking here now. I'm gonna do that on the plane. I'm gonna watch this one back.
Oh man, I appreciate it.
It's great. It's really good. I want to wrap around the money aspect. So you're 38. You obviously accumulated a lot over these years right now. Again, we were speaking to a guy yesterday that accumulated a lot as well. And when he hit a certain mark, he thought that was the shit. That was life. That was happiness. That was joy. And then that was a very empty place. So what have you, first of all, like what do you know now about money that you wish you knew 10 years ago?
Ooh, that is a tough question. Because that has a lot of answers to it, I think. From
a perspective of like, I was 25 or 30 and I thought, I'm going to get the money, I'm going to like pursue that. And then
I thought if I'd be rich, all my problems would be over.
Yeah.
And I would be just darned. Everything's going to be smooth sailing. And it happened. Just be honest. So I told my wife now, but when we were engaged, I said, here's where I'm at. This is before I got the team. I said, here's where I'm at. I've gotten everything that I need as far as cash flow. We got real estate, and every year how I do it. Because you don't know how my system works, but like stuff I did 3 years ago pays off every 3 years. So every month we'll have a 200 grand or $1 million here, like just come up from stuff I did then. And then if it goes south, it's even better for me because now I get to refinance and re-lease option. Like you have, then I have to learn.
Yeah.
So I said, look, we can either retire and we will literally live anywhere. We'll buy a place in Switzerland, Los Angeles. We already got some stuff in Costa Rica. We'll get a beach house in Florida, and we'll live in Atlanta, and we'll just live 2 to 3 months anywhere we want. And then she goes, well, I love Korea. I said, well, we'll go to Korea sometime too, because she's learning Korean.
Right.
I said, we can do that. Or to give, because I enjoy working. I think I saw my neighbor, he was a hardworking man. He was like 78 years old. He was outside working. But the moment he broke his hip or something with his leg, it might have been his knee actually. So something happened. He stopped working, and then he died soon after. So when you don't work, I think it's not healthy for a man. We're built to want to do, and grow. I said, so I can either retire and do that, and I'll just fiddle around with my current portfolio, or I'm going to work hard, but then we're going to go through a suffering period. Because that's how business. Anytime you start something, I don't care who you are, $1 billion company will go bankrupt overnight.
Right.
So what's to say
So you
that
go through suffering on different levels, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I said, we can quit. I can work. And she goes, do what you want. I think that you want to work. I said, I do. So I said, we're going to try and do these things. So now I'm going all in on it. But when I'm with her, I give her 100% of the time. So we're here at GrowthCon. The 18th is our anniversary of our dating, right? And then the 20th, yes, it was her. I skipped out on all of GrowthCon because I want to give her 100%. I can go to another company, but I have my team there, and we already have our goals set. And I went in and just mingled real quick, but I want to give her that time.
Yeah.
So, really, if I want to be really nerdy about the money pieces, what I wish I also would have known is the importance of debt. You don't want money in your bank account. You want massive amount of debt. I know that goes back to the 99% of the time you're hearing the wrong advice. It's the 1% of the most wealth. And the millionaires are kind of like that too. You got to go down to where the billionaires. They have massive amount of debt and they don't like money in their bank account. Grant says it too.
Why?
You become a target.
Yeah.
Number one. And number two, there's a thing called the debt clock. Have y'all seen that?
No.
I'll pull up on my phone right now. It's a free app. It's a free app.
But debt, you basically mean assets.
Yes, good debt, not bad.
Exactly.
Not bad.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Look at this. That's the current debt of the United States going down. Look how quick it's going. Okay?
Send that over to me. Yeah.
Right? What a lot of people see is this 36 trillion. But if you roll, it's actually what does that say?
Unfunded interest. And then the number
102 trillion. That is the real debt. Now, what is that 102 trillion? Why do we always hear about 36 trillion, but no one talks about the 100? Is this. This is what that's basically saying.
Someone want to come up?
I've never gotten a
Maybe
phone
they can
call
do.
here. A second, if you don't mind, Luis. Hello? Alan? Yeah, yes, ma'am.
It's almost 1 o'clock.
No, it's okay. Oh, well, thank you.
That's
Alan, he stepped downstairs. I'm just Shane, his friend, but I appreciate it. But I'll tell him you guys called.
You should have changed the formatted. You could format, or you can delete some of it. None of it, yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. That's hilarious. Okay, sorry about that.
Well, you can delete up. Yeah. Just so you have a bit of space, yeah.
All right, so here's the thing. Let's just say that someone is fine at $10,000 a month. Their bills is $6,000. So they spend $6,000, they're making $10,000. Are they happy? They're good. They have a cushion of $4,000. And a lot of people start saying, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But they don't, they just like in the government, they don't recognize the policies that's going to affect them. So a policy for a family. So for you, let's just pretend we're using you in that, because I know you make way more than this, but let's just say you make 10, your bills are $6,000. So you have a $4,000 cushion, and you're like, I'm saving $4,000, I'm good. I can do little things here and there, I can travel, and you're like, I'm good. But truly you're not, because in the future you're going to get married, you're going to have kids, inflation's, you see? So you want to make a goal to have your future policy to where your cash flow. So that's number one. And 102 trillion is where the government's going at its current rate. Okay, which Doge is working. Okay, we're trying, but so we're kind of in the negative. The second thing is you have to be on the side of the government. Billionaires, they always say they intermingle with the government, right? Is how the government is going to pay down the debt or make sure we don't collapse. They have to cause inflation. So there's appreciation and inflation. So you want to make sure that you buy assets. Imagine if you have a debt. Actually, let me use my grandma. She bought 20 acres of land for $25,000. Let's just say she got a 30-year mortgage on it, and she's paying 30% interest, which is ridiculous, right? Because interest rates are 7, 8 right now, or 6. You know? Let's just say she got 30% interest. You'd say, man, she got ripped off back in those days. But inflation and the cost of the dollar has risen. It's actually, even with the principal and interest she's paying, she's still under what it is. So, and here's another thing going to my grandma. Imagine me going back in time and telling my grandma that Coca-Cola that cost you 5 cents will be, I bought it here $6, but usually it's $3 in like a convenience. It's going to be $3. She wouldn't even believe me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell, that's what I would have told myself. That Chick-fil-A sandwich that's $2 is going to be like $5. Or that Coca-Cola you're buying for 50 cents now is going to be like $3. Like, you see? So in order to do that, you have to get debt. Fix your debt at a current value, what it's worth now. Don't worry about the interest.
Yeah.
And you'll pay it off just due to inflation or because the dollar and
the worth.
Worth. So that's how they're going to pay it off, is they're going to inflate money so that things cost more. Inflation's good sometimes. It'll help them be able to pay the debts. That's really what it is.
Wow.
So I would tell myself that to not be, so then I wouldn't get afraid of debt.
Yeah.
I would also have taught myself about how to manipulate debt, cash out refinance debt, and the terms of debt and seller finance, like what I'm doing now. If I could go back in the past and teach myself something, that's the things I would have learned. And money is a tool. It is not meant to be hoarded.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Use it. Yeah.
Yeah. Use it.
Yeah, because I think that's just from a personal thing. It's like, you're growing a business. You're obviously in real estate. So real estate, I assume it gives you some confidence because it's there. As you said, I get paid three years ago what I did.
Yeah.
So how do you, as you said, you could not work anymore and you could live in anywhere in the world as you want to. How do you then think about going into the grind again, but when you didn't have money, it was a hustle, and it was like almost like out of fear, out of like, we need to grow. Now you don't.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier in the conversation, is that you can settle down like with family, but you can't settle in your mind, because what doesn't grow dies.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump even says something very important. He says you don't ever want to lose momentum. And I was sitting here talking to her saying, I'm willing to give up the momentum to settle down, because I think I've fixed the policy part of where I'm at. Like I have a lot of inflation, but do I really want to? Yeah. So I don't want to lose momentum. So,
Well, are you stressed? Like, do you have worry and fear?
Yes, I can, and that's the thing. They say an entrepreneur is delusional.
Yeah.
I believe that I can psych myself out. So, for example, I'll tell you how I started when I was 15, 16. I remember I used to keep. Do you know that like? It looks like a water jug, but it was a little jug and it had a little neck. And I'd pay, I don't know, no one taught me this other than coins. Like I'd say every time I got coins, I'd put it in the bucket. But I also, if I had a $1 bill or a $100 bill, I could never spend them.
Right.
So if I ever got a $100 bill paid to me by someone, I'd stick it in there. Every time I had a $20 bill, I had to spend 20s and 5s and 10s. But if it was ever $1, I had to put it. And it would just, no matter how hungry or how stressed I was, I just pretend I never had that money.
Yeah.
I created my own inflation to go in, and then I would invest that money. So I learned in my past of how to stress myself because I refused to touch or do something with that money or
Stay
this
broke,
thing.
back to that mindset. Yeah.
Even with now, like as I make a certain amount of money, I say, so if I make, and if you see how we teach, one day you'll have to come and just give me an idea of what you think how I'm teaching my people. But we have this thing that on our 60-40 scale, remember I said 60% is boring and 40% is like maximum.
Yeah.
On the 60%, you can only live off of 8%. But if it makes 12%, you have to take that 4 and reinvest it in the 60 and only forced to live off 8. Okay, so let's use that math again. Let's just say that someone's trying to live off of $10,000 a month. Okay, $10,000 a month. That's times 12 is 120 grand a year.
Yeah.
If you divide that by 8%, that means all you need is $1.5 million. Work hard to make $1.5 million, and you'll live.
Right. So then, $1.5 million, and then you could put all that away and then live off these 8.
Yeah. So that's the next goal that I did. So that would be the next phase that I did when I was like 30, because I was doing Taekwondo and I was doing fine, but then I stressed myself out. I said, what I'm going to do is I want to, and honestly, Grant Cardone, I have to give him benefit for this, is he said, never live off of active income. So if I work or I teach or I do and I make money, I refuse to spend it even on a Coca-Cola. It goes straight into my 60% and I only live what comes out of that.
Yeah.
And it gives 8%. If it ever makes 12, I have to put the 4 back, and it forces me to live off of the 8, and it keeps me in a mood. But then if it grows, then I'll take that and invest in business, and then I treat each business as if it's its own.
Right.
If I have to fund it through, then I'll stress out because it's just like a game. You have to treat it like a game.
Yeah.
But I do have stress. Don't get me wrong. No matter how big, I bet Elon Musk or someone works in the
stress.
We still have the same stress. It's just different level. Maybe
different. Like
my mortgages. I spend like $400,000 or $500,000 a month on mortgages. That's not a cool feel, But and then I had property taxes, $690,000, and then I had another $400,000 bill in January. I said, and I said, okay, I can't use my money I made here. I have to come up with it in this special way. So I was able, and I treat it like a game.
Right.
So you do that, it'll keep you moving. But I don't know if it's healthy, but that's what I did.
But you stay in momentum.
Yeah, it keeps me moving, It keeps me like, I don't know, maybe active. Maybe it'll make me live longer, or maybe it'll kill me sooner. I don't know.
I feel like I'm not losing my hair faster than my dad, so there's something in there,
Yeah, or get more gray hair. I've gotten some patching up here a little.
That's great. We'll wrap up in a second, but like just on that note, so let's say, how would you coach me on money right now? So let's say I'm a business owner right now. I'll just explain what I do. Like I have a little bit of crypto I put into Bitcoin, and then I have another account that I just basically store. You know what I mean? Because I want to eventually invest into something, and then I just have the operational side of the business that kind of like are in my active account, and then I just move it into private or into business stuff. But that's basically just what I do right now, waiting to do something with it.
Yeah, and you'll wait, and never do. That's what most people do. You're an entrepreneur, so you'll probably do. You're just waiting for that one deal or that certain amount of money. So what... If you don't mind me saying it, I'll coach you on this, okay? Because I need ripped abs and food and everything.
Yeah.
One thing I think that you're missing is how to manage debt.
Yeah.
And how to manipulate money. That's what you're lacking, and that's all I knew how to do. So that's all I may not be able to play football or basketball, but I can do that. So what I would say is, and if I had a pen or paper, but it's like 60%. Is in boring assets, and usually that is kind of like, that's real estate. It might be in real estate and maybe something that has something like really something that in a good economy it's the same, in a bad economy it's the same pay. The 40% is split between two things, 30 and 10. 10% is crypto and gold, and I call it put it on
play
black.
Around, whatever,
put it on black. It can double, triple. It's very volatile. The other 30% will be businesses. So that's the why I've stressed myself, because that's the thing they can, I don't know, like think about this. I'm in Taekwondo. We have kids. What's more liable than having kids in a room hitting each other and moving nunchucks? Or one person, think this is a real awful thing. This didn't happen in our school, it happened in another school. One of the masters went into a dressing room with a young kid and did something they wasn't supposed to. It can vanish right away, right? So even businesses, they have a little bit of volatility, right? So that's that 30%. That's fix and flips, that's businesses, that's active income. What I would do is make a goal, and you'd have to go home because I don't know every little thing that you do, but I'd say every penny that I get that comes out of that needs to go in an account, and whatever passively comes out, that's my true amount of money I make. It's like you've taxed yourself, like you filtered it yourself. That's the hardest phase, is going from what you're doing as active into that. The next thing I would do, because I'm a real estate guy, I'd say go ahead and buy a property, buy one within the next 45 days. Whether you like it or not, just say, I can do it, I will do it.
Yeah.
Buy one, and even if it's only making you $500 a month,
it's there,
Yes. Then you go to the second one. If you get 10 doors, so you just mentioned it, and only make $500 per door, that's $5,000 a month. So if you lost internet on all of Bali and they shut down all the airports and Bali became reclusive just for a moment, you're still okay, at least. You know, you said like things can happen. We could have that little solar flare knock out Wi-Fi. That'd be awful, wouldn't it? You know, that hurt a lot more than just that hurt banking too. But like, so I would say I don't know if you're. Let's just say we're shooting for you to make $10,000. You need to shoot for 20 doors. This one boy, one impressive boy, I met him in Beverly Hills at a real estate thing, and honestly, we didn't learn anything. I didn't learn anything. And honestly, a lot of people there were kind of snobby, so it was only me and him talking. You know, I'm an introvert, he's an introvert, but he just said there was a bunch of high-minded, but that didn't really even talk much. It was weird. I've gone to a lot of conferences. That was just a really weird one. I don't know. It's very unlikely. But he said, I want to do real estate. And I gave him a little bit of advice, and he left, came back, and in 1 year period, 1 year, he's 20, he just turned 21, 52 doors in 1 year. Young kid.
No money?
Like a smidge. He probably had like 30, 40 grand or something, but like nothing. So I was like, well, he has the I can do it attitude. So I would say, let's shoot to get you 20 properties where you make $10,000. I don't know what number you need to just at least fill yourself. And then whatever money you do in all your work and your expansion, you keep dumping it into something like that. And then take 10% and throw it in some more crypto. But the thing about crypto or gold, let's say gold, it could double in 10 years. Well, you could have doubled it way more times in real estate or in other assets, you know, and it'd be more safe. And it comes with tax advantage. The cool thing about real estate is every time we charge rent, like I said, if you buy one door and you make $500 cash flow, you get to depreciate, okay, off of that property, and it'll probably make that $500 or a lot of it be tax free. Well, it's not tax free because it's deferred tax, okay, so you still owe it, but you keep deferring until you die, or you can 1031 once you sell. It comes with the best tax advantages, and banks love to lend more on real estate than they do crypto. You know what I'm saying? So, and real estate cash flows, crypto, you're hoping it goes up or down.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of, so that's what I'd say. I'd say start real estate, try not to live off of active income.
Yeah.
If you don't like real estate, because you don't think you can manage it, put it in something like what Grant has in certain, just make sure you
in a
choose
fund sort of thing,
that pays you some cash flow and still gives you the tax benefit.
Yeah. So that's what I thought. Like, that's kind of like my mindset is like, I don't really like, that's, for me, it seems like a second business to learn. Yeah. Right now, I would love to just like, let me just dump it into an area and a place that I trust. That would be my idea.
Yeah, there's DSTs, which is Delaware Statutory Trust. I have a fund, but mine's different. But I would say Grant's is a good one for someone like you, to be honest, because he does large deals. It's a lower pay, but remember, the lower the payout, the better the asset, but it has a bigger equity split later. The higher money you make per month means they got to go in with the gun. You know, so you want to find in the middle, and I think between 3 and 7% is a good range. Okay, and Grant's is usually 5 to 7. By what I've heard from other investors, I don't know exactly, but so I know his are pretty stable. If you invest with Grant, you better be very happy. But I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
I thought I heard something.
Okay. But yeah,
Yeah.
you would say that's like what do you say? 6% would be.
Yeah, 6 to 8% if you can, but like his is between five, but he also has the best of the best.
Right.
So yeah, I'd say try and live off of passive income and any active, keep pumping it in there. Eventually that your assets or your 60%, your investment side will go so big,
Yeah.
you'll live off of it. And then when you pass away, your family can live off of that. You know, isn't that
Yeah.
amazing?
And you would still like go into a fund like that because versus actually learning the game yourself. I understand.
Well, I like to learn because I like to
that's
do.
your game.
But
Yeah.
but honestly, if I knew I was going to die in 2 years, I'd be liquidating and put them in certain types of trust.
Right.
I keep all my stuff in land trust, personal property trust, but I would put it into a Delaware statutory trust because you get the tax benefits. It's backed upon real estate. You make a monthly,
Yeah.
and or I do a spendthrift trust. That's what the Kennedys and the Rockefellers do, and it'll prohibit you. It'll pretty much it what does it do? It kind of not prohibit. I hate to say prohibit, but it prohibits your family or future generation to squander the wealth. You know,
Yeah. So it's protected
it's
basically.
protected. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
nerdy
A
stuff.
lot of nuggets there, yeah. No, I really appreciate that. I want to wrap around like last question for you. So you're 38, obviously right now. You still like, I'm 32. I turned 32.
Man,
Monday,
you're
yeah.
young though.
We're all young. We're all young
right?
and ready.
I like you. He includes me in that young part. I like.
We're
that.
all young. No, you are young. But what would you like? Just maybe just go back to 30 or whatever age around that time. What would you tell yourself? What's important and what's not important based on what you know now?
Like with money or family or
Just yeah. Maybe go over like the life, the family, like yeah. What's important and what do not bother about that. Don't worry about these things because they don't matter anyway.
Well, what does matter is, I'm a Christian, so I always want to put God first, and I see where God protected me from, because when I was young and I did get a lot of money, I was like, yo, man,
Yeah.
I was getting excited, and then God would let something happen where it'd go away or something would move, or I don't know. I feel like I look back and see where God protected me when I really could have gone off the deep end possibly or gotten kind of strayed. So I think always, number one, God first. Family first, but just because family's first, okay, doesn't mean that you just drop everything just for the family, because then you won't work and you can't provide for them. So you got to have a good balance. And then, biblically speaking, it says do everything as if you're going to do it unto God. So why wouldn't I give 100%
Yeah.
in everything that I do?
Yeah.
And then for those that say that you're greedy, Shane, and that's what I would tell myself, if you're okay with living off 50 grand, why not make $1 million with least amount of effort but maximum amount of profit? Make an extra 950, donate the 950, then just live off the 50 if you feel like it's a strain on you. Yeah. So I'd say that. And then probably what I need to say to myself, even I need to get in good shape. I'm looking at you guys. I keep going back to it, but I mean it. I was telling her, I said, man, I just want to do some push-ups. Yeah, so it's a good help. And one other thing that is not as important that I thought was important is I always just wanted to keep everybody in my inner circle, but anyone that's toxic or just don't be afraid to just get rid of them right
move
away.
on.
It sounds bad, sounds mean. Just get them away. You'll be happier later. There's some people just in my life that were there too long. You know what I mean? Like toxic people or something. Doesn't mean I don't want to help, but I can't just go. I don't want to be brought down with them, not just mentally, emotionally, and all that area. So I hope that was the okay answer.
That was absolutely perfect. So you are going heavily into the educational side now. So where can people figure out more about what you guys are doing if they want to get into real estate, if they want to learn from you, watch more podcasts and videos? I know you're going to do a lot now. That's the mission.
We're going to try.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation.
I have. This is always fun. We got this amazing view. I keep looking at this view.
It is actually
good.
it is
Those
next level here. Yeah.
mountains.
No, it's beautiful.
No, but people can find me on Instagram, YouTube. Where else? I got Snapchat. I don't use it much, but mainly Instagram, YouTube at Shane So, SHANE SEO. And then, we have a free school community. So we're trying to meet and mingle, and people can share their deals or ask questions. And then we do some free workshops here and there, and We have some paid ones too, but that's usually like it's like 5 days deep dive into
Yeah.
something. But most of our stuff is free. We just want to meet future partners, really.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely.
Man.
I think we should do something in the future for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel very, what can I say, blessed that we could have this opportunity to chat. It's been a pleasure, and as I said to you in the beginning, I can see why you're successful.
Oh man,
And
I
it's
appreciate it.
really just down to the fundamentals of life. Just, you know, you heard the speakers talk about like give more than you get in any place you go, and I think you embody that very.
Oh man,
beautifully,
I
yeah.
appreciate it. Now let me see a flex over here.
Let's do it. You know,
I'm not even gonna pull up my sleeves. I don't want to embarrass you.
we'll get there. We'll
Thank you,
swap the
man.
Coke out with the water. You know. Thank you, Shane. Appreciate you. Okay.
Thank you, man.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.